So what's up, this is JuJuan Buford, Managing Partner, JSB Business Solutions Group, co-founder of NextOp Social, PPLSI entrepreneur. And you know what I want to talk about today is this feeling of overwhelm or feeling of disenchantment that as entrepreneurs we have to deal with sometimes. And look, we've all been there where you just really lost that loving feeling for your business, or you just feel like you're overwhelmed or bored with the overhead, right? The monotonous cold calling, the administrative work, phone call, text message, email, dealing with individuals who are not ideal prospects or sometimes not even ideal clients, right? They've decided to do business with you and you're like, why did I make this commitment to this person? Et cetera, right? Dealing with maybe low expectations, low vibrations, even sometimes from your own business partners, vendors, or staff person you do it. Like, we've all been there, right? And if it reaches the point where it's transpiring for days at a time, it can become problematic. I mean, it's not abnormal for it to happen for a period of a day or maybe even a day, right? Things happen, BS.com happened to us all. But when you're in a situation where it's ongoing for days, weeks at a time, we got a problem, right? And when I observe these behaviors in entrepreneurs, whether they've been beta tested or not, right? Whether they're established or not, a couple things I immediately start to think about is, number one, it boils down typically to a person's core values or core focus. There's some incongruence there, right? And that's why I wanted to have this talk. Now, I know, look, there's a school of thought out there that says, look, get the business profitable, then worry about your feelings afterwards. I know that school of thought is out there. But if you're coming from a place where you may not come from money, resources, you may not come from a place where you've already developed entrepreneurship muscle. If you come from a place, I'm trying to figure out a way to be coquettish about it. But if you're coming from a place where you've already taken some damage emotionally, you've already taken some damage psychologically, you've already taken some damage financially, and you are not necessarily surrounded by the most supportive individuals around you, look, I fully believe that it is tough. It is very hard to put your life's energies, to pour your life's energies into a compromise. You need to be able to define your why. You need to be able to define the reasons why you decided to start your business in the first place. 9 times out of 10, when I see operational lag in an organization or in a company, it's because the values and the core focus are non-congruent. The shiny object syndrome has transpired. The business or the company or the business owner is doing things that don't really line up with their purpose and the reasons for getting started in the first place. And the thing about entrepreneurship, whether you're established or not, it doesn't get easier in some respects. Entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship. We're solutions providers. We look for solutions. And in that process, we have to challenge and grow ourselves. And so it doesn't necessarily ever become easy, so to speak, for that reason, right? And because of that, you have to be able to summon the energy to develop the skills, or maybe develop new skills. You have to summon energy to develop new insights or be acceptable to new insights. You need to be working on yourself all the time. And it is hard, once again, to really give your life energies to some things if they don't line up with your core values. That's why I'm such a huge proponent of sitting down first and saying, hey, what is it that I want? What's most important to me? What matters most to me? What am I taking aim at? Because I'm going to expend some energy. There's some conversations I got to have with family and friends with myself. I'm going to make some sacrifices. I'm going to have to give a lot of things up to go up. And you need to make sure that your reason why is worth it, that the juice is worth the squeeze. Or what's going to end up happening is the first time you get some resistance, the first time you get a no, first time somebody says something rude, obnoxious, first time life circumstances, BS.com, from the minor stuff to big stuff, traffic accidents, death, disability, something happens to a family member. These things can derail you if you have not sat down and really asked yourself, why am I doing this? Why is this important, right? And look, I think for a lot of us, it becomes challenging to identify the things that give us energy because a lot of us are scared. A lot of us are scared. Scared to offend people. Scared that people are going to look at us a certain kind of way. Scared because we feel like we may end up being judged for going hard at our thing. And once again, I'm one of the, just a huge believer in going hard on you, right? Finding the power in yourself. The answer is inside. It's an inside job. And so if you are well, or you just love helping people, that's what motivates you. Great, fantastic. If the bling, if being iced out motivates you, if having nice things motivates you, boats motivate you, watches motivate you, clothes motivate, then go hard on that. If you're a person that is motivated by power, by knowledge, by insight, right? That's what gets you going. That gets your juices flowing, right? Then go hard on that. If you're one of those individuals that likes to have fun, go hard on that. But you got to be about you. You got to be about the things that really do give you energy. And I think a lot of us are oftentimes too scared to really do deep dives and stuff like that, right? There's a quote that I'm looking at now. It says, "The degree to which we live truly happy, fulfilling lives shrinks or expands in relationship to our willingness to live in our values and truths." Now, that's a paraphrase. I can't remember where I got it from. But I switched it up for the words to make sense to me. But that's basically the gist, right? The other thing that I think dissuades people from doing this work, from really sitting down and asking themselves the tough questions about what's really motivating them, what really gives them energy, aside from being fearful of judgment and other people's opinions, which, you know, fascinating enough. I mean, those people, most people you concern yourself with, most of the people that you're concerned about their opinions, their feelings, and their thoughts, they're not going to be here 3 years from now. They're not going to be here 5 years from now. Have you noticed that? That as you've leveled up, you don't necessarily diss people. I wouldn't make a habit of that. But you start distancing yourself from people. You know, there are such things as 4-figure conversations and 3-figure conversations and 5-figure conversations and 6- and 7-figure conversations. Your conversations change as you start to level up socioeconomically, right? Because even from a psychological standpoint, you're just in a different place. You start seeing the world differently. And majority of people whom you're really concerned about, when you get on, number one, they're not going to support you on your way up. And number two, they're not going to be there anyway. Okay, enough of that. So here's the thing. The other reason why this is tiring for individuals is because people want to make it a task, when in the reality of the matter, it's a process. And it's a very fatiguing process. Look, our brains comprise about 2% of our body weight, if I recall correctly, from the notes I took. The reality of the matter is our brain uses up over 25% of our energy. So this thing that takes between our, behind our eyes, it takes 2% of our body weight, actually uses up 20 to 25% of our energy, right? It's tiring. It's a muscle, and it needs a lot of energy to do what it needs to do, particularly when we're talking about tackling topics like this, topics that require deep thought, right? Deep emotional connection, taking the time to listen to your inner voice, right? And kind of tune everything out. That consumes a lot of energy. It makes people tired. And we don't talk about this, right? Goal setting can be very tiring if you are not in a habit of it. You have not developed those muscles. If you have not taken the time to make it common practice to ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can achieve today? What's the most important thing I can do to make it a masterpiece? What's the top two, three things I can do this day? What are the top 2, 3 things I can do this week? What are the top 2, 3 things I can do this month or this year? It can be very time consuming if you have not taken the time to do the work. And so that's another reason, right? I want you to accept the fact that this is going to be a process. And I can tell you, for me, it's been a process, right? Deprogramming myself and putting myself in the right spaces with the right people, in front of the right information, to get my head right so I can become the person that's deserving of the objectives and goals and dreams that I have, right? It is what it is. So what are some of the questions that I would encourage individuals to ask if you're really trying to work your way out of this situation? Number one, you need to ask yourself once again, what are the things that you value? What are your values, right? What matters most to you? What's most important to you? Make a list. It could be financial independence. It could be time freedom. I'm looking at some of my notes where I just jotted down stuff I've heard other people say. It could be being an excellent parent. It could be education, right? It could be a huge value of yours, like something that's core to your self-concept, something that's always going to be there. Also, keeping in mind that as you grow and develop and evolve, some of these core values may not change, but others may take more priority, right? Depending on the stage you are in your life. That's another conversation, right? I'm committed to financial independence and prosperity could be a value. I value the Earth's environment, right? Environmentalism. I value freedom, choice, and agency. You probably know that's me all day long. I love dancing, or I love my art and being sunshine to others. Like, what are the things that you value? Write a list of 10, 15, 20 things. Maybe a good idea is to take inventory of people around you that you really respect, people who've achieved the things you want to achieve, and take inventory of the characteristics and values that they exhibit. That could also be a way for you to kind of get in contact with the things that you value, right? The things that matter most to you. But take the time, write these things down. It's one of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, what are the things that you value? Because you want to make sure that the things that you involve yourself with, you want to make sure the people that you vibrate with, you want to make sure that the projects that you get involved with, that they are correlate, right? That your values serve as the compass to decide what things you do and which things you don't do, what you say yes to and what you say no to. All right. One of the things you could ask yourself is, what is the thing you could do that would have the greatest impact on the lives of others? So if you're in a situation where, once again, you've lost a love and feeling for your business, or maybe, quite frankly, you're just trying to figure out, what kind of business should I start up? That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. What is the one thing I could do where I'd have the greatest impact on the lives of others, right? So after you ask yourself the value question, because your mind is going to gravitate towards the things that you enjoy doing, the things that, once again, matter most. Take inventory of events you've participated in, activities you've participated in. I mean, go back from the time as far back as you can remember. What are these things that really, once again, excited you, had you enthusiastic, where you just felt like it wasn't work, like you could do it tirelessly, right? Another question you can ask is, what are the top 3 things you could do personally to make the biggest impact in your life? You know, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of entrepreneurs make, particularly if you're a creative, and even more so if you're a whale, like your person likes to help people, that's what gets you going, that's what gives you energy. You got to remember to serve yourself. A sinking ship can't save another sinking ship. You got to make sure, and I see this all the time, particularly if you listen to a business owner or look at a business owner's business plan, and you notice they don't account for themselves, right? They account for all the capital they need to execute all the things they want to execute in terms of the projects, the work, services, products, but there's no mention of how much they need to pay themselves. Like, they don't even take that into account. You have to do that for yourself. It is hard to be creative. It is hard to be focused. It is hard to do things over a long period of time when your stomach is touching your back. Pain can spur you, but that's not going to keep you going. You don't want to be operating from that place indefinitely, right? So you got to get those things out the way. You got to get money as an issue out the way. You got to get certain things that are paining you, that are distracting you, that are taking your energy, not contributing to you, right? Things that are making withdrawals from you as opposed to deposits. You got to deal with those things. So yeah, ask yourself, what are the things that will make the greatest impact in the lives of others, but what are the things you could be doing that will also make the greatest impact in your life, right? That will feed and edify you, leave you feeling like you're living a life of satisfaction, right? Okay, what kind of person do you want to be? I talked about this before, right? Or by extension, what kind of business do you want to build? It's an important question. If you're trying to figure out, once again, what type of business do I want to start? What type of things will give me energy? What can I monetize? What will work for me, right? These questions are really designed what's going to get your motivations, but also at your power. Because now we're going to start moving into what skills, what knowledge, what talents do you have, right? These are the things that you can monetize. These are the things that you do better than everyone else, right? What activities have you enjoyed most during your professional life? Once again, another important question. If you're a W-2 sitting down somewhere trying to figure out, okay, what should I be doing? What should I transition to? What should I pivot into? Once again, a lot of these have to do with what? You. What gives you joy? What gives you a sense of satisfaction? A lot of times, the things that we enjoy are things that we're good at, right? We get good at something, we develop a sense of confidence and pride, and it drives us to become even better. I really sincerely believe human beings are progress-seeking missiles. That's when we're happiest, when we're making progress, right? That's why when you achieve a goal, the win feels really good, but it doesn't last very long because we're really progress-seeking missiles. The goals are just kind of like milestones. The goals kind of like provide frameworks or trajectories for us to take aim at. But at the end of the day, it's always the progress that feels the best, right? So ask yourself, what are the things that you've enjoyed? And chances are it's the things that you become very effective and good at that you apply yourself and you derive satisfaction from it. All right, another question. What are the skills knowledge, talents that you possess, that you believe you're effective at, but you also have some social evidence. Other people will say you're highly effective at it too, right? Doesn't hurt to ask other people too, well, hey, what do you think I'm good at? Have that conversation. If you're in a leadership position or if you're in a followership position, ask people, what do you think I'm really good at? What do you think I'm very effective at? And of course, you take it all with a grain of salt, but you also understand that there's some, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's some truth to a lot of the feedback you can receive too. And then of course, once again, what is my core focus? Core focus of my business. Why does it exist beyond being profitable? In other words, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to take aim at? You gotta be honest about this, right? I want everyone to experience entrepreneurship. I believe it's empowerment. And once again, I just firmly believe it's really difficult for people to be their best selves when their stomach is touching their back. And not just physically, but also psychologically, mentally, and otherwise. It's just hard when your stomach is touching your back. I believe everyone should enjoy a degree of entrepreneurial success. Not everyone might not be ready for it full time. Not everyone may not be ready to do it and go in on it as a way of life, but everyone should benefit from entrepreneurship in a way that it shapes you, in a way that it creates independence, the way that gives you agency of what happens at your kitchen table, and consequently agency of what happens in your community, especially if you're employing people, right? But when I think about my target market and the individuals whom I really love to serve, look, I can serve individuals who are already earning millions of dollars, but I really derive a sense of enjoyment from helping underdogs, from helping people who have not been there, for helping people traverse ground that they haven't covered before. I really enjoy that. I love working with people who hail from certain circumstances where they could have been damaged, where the environment they're in is damaging. I love seeing people get out of it, right? And I can go a step further if I wanted to in terms of talking more specifically in terms of demographics, but you get the point. Who are the people that you want to serve? You might want to help people learn how to forgive themselves and progress through trauma. You go deeper on that, right? But maybe that's the buyer persona that you want to serve. Maybe it is to serve the best, most smacking waffles ever. Like you want to make the best waffles of all time. Look, that might be your demographic. People who love waffles. I love waffles. Anyone looking to start a waffle business, let me know. I love waffles. It could be to help men or women or both develop a healthy mindset and also help develop themselves physically, right? Because once again, I believe also physically too, man, if you're not eating right, if you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, it takes a toll. It's very hard to expend the energy you need to expend to be successful as an entrepreneur and your body ain't right. I mean, this vessel's got to carry you through some tough times, right? Joe Dispenza has a book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, where he talks about the connection between the mind and body and how they work and how like they're two separate minds that influence each other and talk to each other. Yeah. That might be your thing, right? Your theme might be to help people overcome the stress in their marriage or their relationships. Know who the people are you want to serve. You're not going to make everyone happy. And if you're trying to make everyone happy, here's the thing. If you spend too much time trying to make other people happy, what ends up happening is the people that you want to serve could be hurt because they may need your brand. They may need your focus. They may need your values. They may need your example. But because you're over here messing around with people who really aren't for you, you hurt the people that you started your business to serve in the first place. You hurt yourself because you find yourself in a situation where you stop enjoying your business because it doesn't align with your values, doesn't align with your core focus, it doesn't align with your core competencies. You can't be everything to everybody. You need to have a viable product or service. You need to have a viable product or mission. People are not waking up in the morning to decide, I want to make you rich today. You know, it's WIIFM, what's in it for me? You got to be able to answer that question for other people, not yourself. Look, that's not how it works here. You have to like the people. You have to want to serve the people that you're providing those solutions for. So look, once again, don't spend your time trying to be correct or trying to be palpable to everybody when you're answering these questions. And if you can answer these questions, this will give you a really good ideal in terms of if you're looking to start a business, what kind of business you should start up, what you should be doing. And then if you lost that loving feeling for your business, hopefully this gives you the frameworks or at least some concepts help you kind of guide your way out of that situation. So that being said, as always, look, I encourage individuals, please hit the like button, let the social media universe know this served you, if I brought that value to you. Comment, feedback, I eat them like Skittles, love comment and feedback. Like all that fun stuff, right? And to be continued. I celebrate success in advance. Goodbye for now.